now you're seeing the press and Democrats going on about Trump because he took Maduro out of power, okay? Now here's the thing. This started as a drug issue, okay? He tried to work with Maduro. He tried to work with, he tried to use force against the boats, force against the facilities that were doing drugs, the drug facilities. It wasn't working, okay? Because Maduro had the backing of Russia and China. And it seems that even the vice president, who's now the point that Maduro appointed, was actually talking with the Trump administration. It seems Maduro himself wouldn't negotiate, wouldn't do anything. And that's because Maduro had the backing of Russia and China. And they were telling him, don't negotiate. They were telling him straight up, don't negotiate. You don't have to negotiate. So, now people are mad because Trump launched. He got Maduro out of battle. They're mad because he didn't notify Congress before the removal of Maduro. But here's the deal. How many dang leaks do we have in Congress? Okay? If they would have told Congress, the Democrats in Congress would have leaked the information to the press. And they would not care if that would have put all those U.S. military members in harm. Because they want to get out and say bad stuff about Trump. And not just Democrats. Representative Thomas Massey, Representative Marjorie Greene would have done the same and leaked information to the press, putting those troops in harm. Now, he did not use a full force military. He used a limited number of special operation forces, and he used the CIA. Now, that's the thing. They have a problem with that. But I looked it up. Obama did the same. When Obama had Libya attacked, he said this was a humanitarian mission. No, it wasn't. If you really look into it, France wanted gold. Italy wanted to get natural gas because they had a pipeline. The other European countries wanted the natural resources and also energy resources, Plus, even Russia wanted this war against Libya because then they could gain access to the Middle Eastern oil more. So they wanted, and that's why it was a UN mandate, because all the countries that voted for the Libyan war benefited from it. Now, this whole issue with Trump going unilateral, well, that's because none of those countries that are complaining right now benefited from Maduro getting out of office. They didn't benefit. They didn't benefit. They're not getting the oil money. The oil money's going to go reimburse the United States and going to go to the Venezuelan people. It's not going to Europe, okay? It's not going to Europe. Europe's not getting any of that. So, and Russia's going to lose an ally in the Caribbean, and they're going to lose money themselves. China's going to lose money themselves. And that's, of course, they're all going to condemn because they're not reaping the benefits. Now, some people will say, okay, Trump said he's not going to do regime change. Trump said that he used peace through strength, okay? He tried it the way of just bombing the drug ships, bombing the drug facilities, but because Maduro was backed by Russia and China, Maduro just didn't care. He acted like he was You know, he didn't care what the United States was doing to him. You know? The fact is that, yes, U.S. will temporarily occupy, and I'll use that word, but it's only, Trump said, it's only for at least 1 year. We occupied Iraq for a number of years. We occupied Afghanistan for way longer than anything. Okay? We occupied Afghanistan even after they had a civilian government. No matter what kind of teeth you got brushed. You know? We still had some control. Now, that's the thing. And Libya, you know, the funny thing about Libya is, like I said, Obama sent ground troops. He sent what he calls security, special operations to provide security, and he sent the CIA. So it was never no boots on the ground, okay? It was never, and it was never just a humanitarian mission in Libya. It was for the benefit of European countries why we went to war. And Russia and China. They're both. I don't know why we benefit Russia and China, but that's what happened. Now, here's another deal. Now, Democrats and Massey and Green will keep using this against the president. But the thing is, it just seems what they're doing is supporting Maduro. They're coming to the defense of Maduro. Okay? Maduro's probably happy hearing Democrats say that in Massey and Green. He's probably cheering. I got some allies. Okay? But, number one, like I said, Democrats didn't care about what Obama did in Libya. They had the Senate. They had the majority in the Senate, and each and every Democrat in the House and Senate supported what Obama did. Obama did not have congressional authorization to go to Libya. And whenever legislation came up to give him authorization, the Congress rejected it. But they supported, but the Democrats supported it. Now, what it is, and remember what Biden said? He would put all military in Russia for Ukraine. And Kamala Harris supported. So, let's just say this. If we would have voted for Kamala Harris, okay, then at this time, we would be against a nuclear power, Russia, compared to Venezuela, which is not a nuclear power. You know, it's not they don't got chemical weapons. You know, they don't have everything that Russia has. I mean, Russia can have those because they're one of the 7 Security Council members that can have all those weapons of mass destruction. You know, they can have it. So I rather us be, you know, involved in Venezuela than Russia. And both Kamala and Biden said they would not negotiate with Russia. Well, hey, you don't negotiate with Russia, it means you want war with Russia. Because when you're trying to make a deal, you have to negotiate with both Ukraine and Russia. And that's funny because the European countries are now saying don't negotiate with Russia. Because the European countries want a war with Russia too. You know, it seems like everybody wants to go against the nuclear power. A crazy guy like Putin who sends nuclear submarines to Turkey, which I believe Turkey was an ally of Russia. You know, there was but you know how Putin's allies are. He don't care if they're really allies. You know, but the guy was crazy. The guy's crazy, and you know I don't want a war with him. You know, it was easier to get Maduro out of power if you look at the limited operation they used. You know, Putin has a indictment on him, and no one, even in his own administration, can get him because they have loyalty towards Putin. Now, Maduro had loyalty, but I'm pretty sure, the United States hasn't said that anyone in Venezuela was involved. But, now come on. Maduro was like Putin. He had all this loyalty. I doubt, even Trump questioned it. At the interview, Trump says, you better check if somebody was involved to get Maduro out. He said that at the interview. He didn't say exact words, but then he said that $50 million, he told Rubio to check. He said, you better check about that $50 million reward. He even said he's questioning if there was no help from Venezuelans at all. Even he, like I said, he talked about the $50 million. He even said Rubio should check. Because even Trump's thinking there had to be some help from somebody in the Venezuela government. But I guess the reporters didn't catch that part. Because they don't want to report that part. They wanted to say, go on. And the thing is, I would never vote for a Democrat. I'm sorry. Because the Democrats want to put in Biden's policies back. And they can. They can with the Congressional Review Act. It doesn't take 60 votes in the Senate. Regular legislation takes 60 votes in the Senate. This is not regular legislation. This is Congress to overturn the executive branch, executive orders. All it needs is a majority in the Senate. Okay? Now, Democrats are campaigning to take majority of the House and Senate. If they have majority in the House and Senate, then they could go back to Biden's policies. They could force President Trump to go back to the Biden's policies. Do you want Biden's policies? Now let me ask you, do you want Biden's policy? Let's think about Biden's policy. Now, if you don't believe that a transgender woman, which has all the male parts, goes into a shower or dressing room or locker room and share it with cisgender. Cisgender is basically women born female. And then why would you vote for a Democrat that wants to change the law back to, not law, but remove the executive order from Trump and go back to Biden's executive order that does that thing? Makes it to, transgenders can have the locker room, dressing room, and shower toys. Why would you want to go back to that? Because they will do that. Now, all the criminal, illegal... Now, let's talk about the sports. I forgot. Also, transgender women would play in female sports. Yes. Do you want that? Now, Biden's policy on illegal immigrants was that they all basically can stay. Okay, they all basically can stay. And that includes ones with criminal records or ones accused of violent activities. Let's say one's accused of violence. Rape, murder, whatever. They would get to stay here under Biden's policy. Now, that's what happened. Remember, Trump had to deport illegal immigrants to foreign countries that Biden let stay. These people all had violent records. Biden let these people stay. And Democrats believe in sanctuary cities, sanctuary county, sanctuary states. They believe that they should allow all the illegal immigrants, including violent ones, to escape ICE. They hate ICE, okay? They hate deporting illegal immigrants. And they're the ones that cause violence against ICE and violence against facilities. Recently, someone with a gun tried to kill an ICE agent at his home. And it was because that person was against ICE. So please, and then let's talk about energy. Do we want to go back to Biden's energy policies that caused the price of goods to go up 18%? Now, do not let the media tell you that climate change policies don't cause the high prices. That's wrong. They try to blame the world economy. No, the truth is, when you put taxes, when you put extra taxes, you put all these policies that mandate that they have to, like zero emissions, or like they put more cost on the refineries. Everything Biden did, that causes the price of fuel to go up. When the price of fuel goes up, companies that sell goods, like grocery stores, are going to raise their prices because it takes more money to transport the goods, because of fuel costs go up, they use fuel. Don't let the Democrats, don't let the press try to say, oh, well, electric vehicles. That's not what companies are using. Majority of companies in the United States still use gas-powered vehicles. Okay? Gas-powered vehicles. So they're not going to absorb those costs. Okay? They're not going to absorb those costs. What they're going to do is raise the price of their goods to support their high cost of fuel. That's how it works. Everybody claims, the Democrats say about tariffs. Well, as we saw, if Trump reduces tariffs, or he makes deals, guess what? Prices go down. Now, Democrats don't want to get rid of their climate change policies. They don't. They want to have it. They don't care if the fuel prices go up. They would rather have the fuel prices go up. You know why? Because they think you're going to abandon your gas-powered car and get an electric car. They think companies are going to abandon their diesel-fueled vehicle and get an electric vehicle. But the problem is, they had two different acts that gave tax credit for electric vehicles, and majority of people didn't take advantage of it. Why? Because it costs more to repair an electric vehicle than a gas-powered vehicle. They have to be specially trained, the mechanics, because of all the electric parts. That costs more. The parts, that costs more. Everything costs more having an electric vehicle. So, if you want to go back to that, then you vote Democrat. If you don't want to go back to that, you will vote Republican. And DEI. Do we want to go back to DEI where we reward somebody because of a race? Because of race? No, we don't want to go back to DEI. But if you vote Democrat, we will go back to it. Again, they can force Trump to go back to Biden's policies. And I'd like you to understand that. It doesn't take 60 votes in the Senate. It only takes a majority. So majority in the House, majority in the Senate, and President Trump cannot veto it. So, for me, I'm voting Republican. I mean, I'm not going to go back to Biden's policies. I don't want to go back to Biden's policies. I mean, one policy I did not mention is he increased the abortion access, the money for abortion access. He increased money to abortion facilities. Trump got rid of that. Again, Congressional Review Act can force Trump to do that. You know? That's all I'm saying. I'm going to vote Republican because I don't want to go back to Biden's policies. And if you truly voted for Trump to get rid of Biden's policies, then you can't vote Democrat.